This is Look West, a podcast from California's Assembly Democrats.
So happy Women's History Month, everyone. My name is Lauren Macias with the Look West podcast, and I'm here with the Majority Leader and Women's Caucus Chair. Hello, Majority Leader.
Well, good afternoon. What a day.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I know it's been an eventful day for you, and we just celebrated Women of the Year on the floor. Do you mind sharing with those who may not be familiar, what's Women of the Year?
It gives us an opportunity for all the Assembly members and senators to recognize honorees that have done some really incredible things, whether it's in their community or for their family or for the legislature. But they are all outstanding women. It's so fun to see them all here and watch them beam to see what we can do with the California State Assembly and the Senate.
That's incredible. And who did you get to honor today?
Oh, I got to honor Gloria Partida. She has been instrumental. She was worked at UC Davis in biology. She was a city councilwoman, I believe also a mayor. But what she's done the most is a group called the Phoenix Coalition. And she's worked with families, LGBTQ families, people that have been abused. But she's just an incredible woman who never gives up and brings the community together day in and day out.
Wow,
she's so cool.
Yeah, that's just the coolest.
Yeah.
And definitely like a testament. I always say, I think if women could advance further, we should have 8 arms because of all the tasks women always take on. And so,
we multitask really well.
Yeah.
So if you're not worried about your family, you worry about everybody but yourself. And so that's the one thing I wish that we as women who take on these leadership roles would take some time for ourselves. And we see that happen all the time, and we all go, oh my God, I'm so busy. Yeah, we all are very busy, and we need to find some time just to decompress.
Yeah, definitely. So on that same note, what's your favorite thing about having more women in the legislature?
Diversity. It is really exciting to hear people's different thoughts and how they want to collaborate, how they want to work together, and it's fulfilling to me because you need to understand everybody's point of view. And many times, I kind of get in my little rat hole, and I think I know everything, and then you kind of go, oh, I had never thought of that before. So I really like having diversity. There's a great group of people up and down the state of California, and they'll have their challenges. We all have challenges, but they all look for opportunities to make our community better.
Right, like the teamwork makes the dream work sort
of
thing.
There you go.
Teamwork makes the dream work. So in 2016, when you first came to the Assembly, 1/4 of the legislature was female, and now it's basically 1/2.
Right.
We're here to discuss gender parity.
Right.
What does it feel like to be a part of that record-setting class of women in the Assembly?
Well, we were very intentional how we did it. We took some time and wanted to figure out how to mentor women and to bring them up and lift them up to come to the Assembly or the Senate, and it took us quite some time, but we had some really instrumental women who helped us do that, whether it's Christina Garcia, Susan Eggman, Tony Atkins, or Nancy Skinner. They helped us with that foundation, and it's my responsibility, as well as Senator Monique Limon, to continue that and continue the uplifting women.
Right on. Obviously, we're achieving gender parity now, but have you noticed any changes in the men?
I have, and they've become really good listeners, and sometimes they stand back and they watch us. And you can see them kind of smile sometimes. They'll go, oh, I get how to do it. And they're more receptive to constructive criticism, because that's one thing that I feel like I can do very easy, because after all, I am a grandmother and a mother, and they're my young men that I get to work with. But I think that we're very lucky to be able to be honest with them, and vice versa. I like their constructive criticism as well. So I think that the men are becoming bolder. I think that they are more open to some of the whims that we women have, because sometimes it's like herding cats. But they've been the backbone for so many years, and they're proud to be a part of us. So it's very interesting.
And can you share with us, what are some of the Women's Caucus priorities?
Oh my gosh, well, it's always going to be childcare. It will always be childcare. It will always be bringing families and mommies and daddies up to bring them up. That's going to be our main one this year, I'm sure. Obviously, we have a lot of budget issues that we want to deal with. The key is not to bring people down right now. We need to try to keep our budget level. because we want to maintain some of the progress that we have made. As much as I'd like to say we're going to do a lot more things, I don't know that we're there this year, but we're not going to give up. We're pretty obstinate, and we have a big bullhorn when you think we have 58 women.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so that's mainly what we're going to do is child care. Every woman gets an opportunity to do one priority bill, and then we vet all the priority bills and determine which ones are going to be our Women's Caucus priority bills. So we have 58 women with 58 bills, and we'll see where they all land. But I think it'll be a nice combination of good bills and good policy.
Okay, and can you share with me a little bit of that process of picking which bills are going to make it into the package?
Well, we did it a little bit different this year because we, in the past, let every woman do as many bills that they wanted to be a woman's priority bill. However, when you have 58 women and everyone were to do 2 or 3, we have to vet all those bills, and we have a short period of time of doing that. So the Women's Caucus divides up into different committees. The committees, whether it's child care, whether it's technology, whatever the case might be, we vet those bills out, and then we take a vote. And we do a blind vote. We used to make sure everybody knew who was who, but we decided we'd do it differently this year. So the only thing that's out on the bill is the bill number. Yes, you could look that up if you wanted to, but quite frankly, we don't need the women's name on it. Let's pick the best policy.
Right, we're all championing it
We're
together.
all championing it, and I think it's going to be an interesting process. I think there's people that are questioning our ability to do that, but heck, let's give it a shot. If it doesn't work, we'll try it again.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
So you shared with us some of the work within the caucus, but does having more women in the legislature change how the whole legislature operates? Have you noticed anything?
I think the main thing is that because we have so many people, we have to really be thoughtful on how we determine what bills we're going to do, or even the conversations. So one of the goals I have is that I go and I'm trying to meet with every single new woman who's in the caucus to say, how are you doing? How's your family? What bills do you want to run? Is there a bill that you're nervous about? How can we help you? So the goal is to help mentor the new people. It's going to take some time. We have a lot of new colleagues that have new staff. And so as you can imagine, there's a little bit of apprehension as they try to figure out what they want to do. But I know we'll get there. But right now, it's really has a lot to do with trying to make sure we visit with the women as well as the men. I don't want to just disparage them, but there's a lot of really good young men that just started that are excited and have a lot of questions. So we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does having more women in the legislature change what topics are considered just as a whole?
Well, we are really thoughtful that it really has to do with families. So women and children. So that our main bills and our policies, how we help families. So whether it's reproductive health care, whether it's affordability, how do we make families stronger? So that's where our goal has been this year, and I'm assuming we're going to get there. Again, we're going to be voting on bills, and it's up to all my gals to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that have a deadline? When does that happen?
We'll be starting to vet those, I believe it's next week, but we have to get them out because many people want to say, my bills are a woman's priority, a women's caucus priority, and so it kind of gets you excited about that's your bill, and generally, not all the women will come up on those particular bills.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
So you talked about building up families, and it kind of goes into the Women's History Month theme this year. The theme is moving forward together.
Right.
And unfortunately, this June, Roe v. Wade will have been overturned for 3 years. How is California stepping up to help women in need?
Well, we have done reproductive packages nonstop. We work with the Attorney General on many of our bills. The main thing is that we just has to, like I said before, we have to be thoughtful on how we attach good policy to the things that women need. And we sit and have many hours of conversation with that. It's not always the most productive conversations. Generally, the Democratic women will support anything in reproduction or helping women and families. It doesn't always follow that way with the Republican families, but that doesn't mean that they don't care. It's just that they've got to figure out where they settle out when we do bills. My main thing is that if the bill doesn't work for you, and it doesn't matter what the topic is, if the bill does not work for you, you do not have to vote for it. You vote your district number one, And if you feel like the topic or the policy is important to you, then you vote that. So that's what we're doing right now. But it's really challenging on some of these conversations with Roe versus Wade. We were dead set. We were very upset about it, but we did, I don't know, I want to say half a dozen bills, maybe a dozen bills, trying to make sure that women were going to be safe.
And how are we preparing for any other attacks that we might be experiencing against?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things going on right now. Everything's up in the air. We're undecisive on many things on the federal level. And until we kind of get settled, we won't be doing, we're just trying to keep California with our heads above water and to make sure that California is affordable. We made a big mistake, I think personally, is that we didn't really listen to people. We didn't really have that conversation about how families can make their lives affordable, make sure they have housing. We didn't do a good job of that. And so as you can see, based upon the last election, we lost quite a bit of seats because we didn't pay attention to what people needed and what people wanted to have done.
So I want to talk about where we're sitting, actually. We're at the Women Inspire exhibit at the California Museum, and we're surrounded by trailblazers from all over California. Some familiar names might be March Fong Yu, Angela Davis, and Billie Jean King. This exhibit spotlights 250 Golden State women.
Isn't it great?
And it's women from the 1700s to the present. We celebrated the Women of the Year celebration today on the floor. What does being in a space like this mean to you?
It's daunting.
Daunting.
It's really daunting to me because, I love what I do. I can't wait to go to work every day. And I don't really think about it that much. I just know I want to change people's lives. And so when I see women and honorees come up and that they've worked with abusive families, they've worked with women in penitentiaries, they've worked in the agricultural world, all of those, you just have to say, thank you very much, because we can't do it on our own. And I really have to admire so many women that were there today that are the glue from the policy that we put forward. And they're the glue because that they go out and they're nonprofits and they try to make sure the funding works and they try to make sure people have a better life. So I really think that it's a daunting opportunity. You sit there and I just go, wow, every day we're changing people's lives. Every day. I could sit on the sofa right now and say, you know what, I don't care what's happening in the federal, with the administration. I could say I don't care, but I do care. And so it's really powerful, I think, that all of us are working hard to help change people's lives. And that's really important to me. But it is, I look around, I hear, someone's in charge of San Jose State University, someone's in charge of the community colleges. Look at what the things they're doing for education for kids. How many people are there for child care and making sure we can take care of families and elders. It's I can't do it all, but it's really nice to have all these other people behind us to help us out.
Yeah, like we're all, like
all
I
in
said,
this together.
We're all in this together.
Yeah.
We're all moving forward together.
We're all moving forward together.
Yeah. Do you want to share with us some of your personal female role models?
Oh, I have so many incredible role models. Delane Easton was one of my big ones. She was a educator, was with the first superintendent of instruction. She always told me to always have a brass backbone. She's one of them. I have people that I went to work with. My friend Judy Silva, she was tougher than nails, and I used to be scared of her because she just told me what it was like, and I really learned a lot about her, just about how to be a strong woman and not let anybody put me down. And then a lot of my colleagues that are on the floor right now, everybody has a different story. And you think you know your colleagues really well, and then you find out, I didn't know that happened to their life, or I didn't know that they're represented. There's a lot of incredible women and men. When you hear their stories, you go, I didn't know you were homeless. I didn't know that you got your education on your own. I didn't, So I really appreciate that I had the opportunity to meet with so many of these women, but I really I'm lucky. I'm a lucky person. My father was a wonderful man as well. My whole family, you can go on and on. My girls are doing incredible jobs. I've been mentoring them, and they're starting their own businesses. So we're really just got to go with it, right?
Right. And I'm done with my questions, but I wanted to ask, if for anyone out there listening, how can they get involved? Maybe they are feeling inspired by, the message of let's all work together. What do you tell maybe someone listening who wants to be more engaged and hasn't gotten there yet?
Don't be afraid to try something. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask how you can be of help. I look to so many people, and when I have an opportunity to speak, whether it's Girl Scouts or FFA students or, in mental health organizations and advocates, I said, make sure you can help us. My shoulder's only so broad. I need you to come to the table and help me out. And people ask you, how do I do it? Write letters, get on the phone, write an opinion piece. And they get excited, but they don't know how to do it. Right now, a lot of people are kind of stopped. They go, well, I'll just send money. No, I don't want you just to send money. I want your voice. And we did that this past week with the Science Center. We stood out front of the Capitol and talked about how important science is and what the government's doing with the National Institute of Health, why we're losing so many potential researchers at UC Davis and all the UCs. So I think you just have to ask to help. Don't be scared.
And maybe to someone who is feeling scared,
Yeah.
like how is California sort of a beacon of hope for them?
Because we have legislators and people that really want to make a change. And we're trying to keep focused. As much as you want to say it's the federal government, right? No, we got to keep focused on what's working really well in California. There's so many things that are. And I look at agriculture right now. They're trying to tell us about tariffs. You know what? We need to continue to grow our plants. We continue to make sure that we feed families. We need to continue that we're doing food for students. We just got to keep going, and the beacon is there. There's so many opportunities. As much as I want to say I'm so mad at what's happening out there, am I disappointed? Absolutely. Is there opportunities? Absolutely. And we have to keep looking for those opportunities to move our whole nation forward in the state of California.
So thank you for spending some time with us. If people want to learn more about the Women's Caucus and your work, I know you're working on another podcast, right, with Senator Monique Limon?
We are, and that came about because we have 58 women. And everybody wants to have some recognition, and they have many stories that they'd like to tell. So we're hoping that we can sit down with different women on either side of the aisle. It's a bipartisan group, and have just some really frank discussions or fun, silly discussions. But we think that's really important so that they get uplifted as well, and it's a good way to mentor them.
And thank you so much for spending some time with me. It was lovely to do this Women's History Month episode with you.
It's so nice to see you, and thank you very much.
The Look West podcast is produced by the DCO Pod Squad for the California Assembly Democrats. Please like, subscribe, and share this episode. When you think of Californian politics, remember to look west.